recording. All right, so starting in child's pose, bringing the toes together, knees to mat width distance. Bring the arms out in front of you. Just sitting the hips back to the heels. Let the forehead come to the mat. Allow your eyes to close here. And just take a moment to kind of tune in with your mind and body. And taking a few exhales to release any extra distractions, any extra thoughts that don't have to do with yoga. After a couple breaths, your mind should be feeling a little bit clearer, a little more focused. And you can gently tiptoe your fingers to the right if you want to take a little side bend this morning. Maybe stack the left hand on top of the right, allow the left hip to be really heavy. And as you do this, start to deepen your breath, slow it down, breathing into the left side of the rib cage, allowing that breath to fill the whole side of your body. On an inhale, gently tiptoe your fingers back through center and then over to the left. Doing the same thing here, finding that deep side bend. Sitting your right hip back down towards your heels. Breathing into the right side of your body. Hi Luann, welcome. We're in child's pose. On an inhale, gently tiptoe your fingers back to center one more time. And just take a couple of breaths here, feeling that extended breath moving through your entire body equally, sides of the rib cage, back of the rib cage. On an inhale, gently make your way to tabletop position, stacking the shoulders over the wrists, knees over the hips, finding a nice long spine here, feeling the core activate and hands press the floor away from you. Gently reach your right fingertips forward and left leg back. We're moving right into a little stretch today. On an inhale, extend a little more, then exhale, crunch underneath you. So just feeling that contraction in the front of the body. Inhale, extend long. Exhale, find your contraction. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contract. Then inhale, extend. Let your right hand come to the floor. Left leg just crosses behind the right leg. Finding those shoelace legs here. So the thighs will be crossed, the feet will be slightly out to the side. On an exhale, just sit your hips back towards the floor. Just targeting the hips a little bit. You can take a couple breaths right here. We've already taken a side bend in our child's pose, so I encourage you just to focus on the stretch in the hips on this one. Make sure the head is hanging nice and heavy here. Take about one more breath. On an inhale, start to make your way back towards your tabletop, uncrossing the legs. And we'll just take a couple cat-cows between sides to neutralize everything. So inhale, drop the belly, bring the gaze high. Open up through the front. Then exhale, curl into your cat. Feel the core contract. 2 more rounds. Inhale, drop the belly, bring the gaze high, moving through the spine. Then exhale, curl into your cat. Nice. 1 more round. Inhale, drop the belly, bring the gaze high. And exhale, curl. Come back to your neutral spine, so flatten out the back. Reach your left fingertips forward and right leg back, setting up for the other side. Take an inhale to establish your balance. As you exhale, bring your elbow to knee underneath you. Contract into the core. Inhale, extend long. Exhale, contract. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contract. Then inhale, extend. Let your left hand come down. Right leg crosses behind the left leg to find those shoelace legs again, moving the feet slightly apart. And on an exhale, gently sit your hips back. Finding your stretch here, maybe noticing how this side feels different. Probably one hip is a little tighter than the other. One side probably feels a little more comfortable than the other. Make sure the head is heavy here, so it might not touch the floor, but we don't want to hold too much tension in the back of the neck. Take about 2 more breaths right here. On an inhale, start to make your way back to your tabletop position, uncrossing the legs. Let your knees align under the hips once more. From here, we'll just inhale, tuck the toes, then exhale, send the hips high, downward dog. Take a moment in your down dog, so feel free to pedal out your feet, whatever movement feels good. Noticing how this starts to stretch the calves as well as moving into the hamstrings, maybe even the shoulders. Take about one more breath of movement here, whatever feels good in this down dog. Start to find stillness. Let your heels lengthen towards the mat. Feel the legs activate, so pull up on the kneecaps. And the palms and all 10 fingers should feel really strong into the floor with equal contact through the entire hand. On an inhale, reach your right leg high, just taking a three-legged dog. So you can open your hips and bend your knee, feeling a nice stretch through the front of the right leg and hip. Maybe circle the ankle a couple times, warming it up a little bit more. One more round of breath right here. On an inhale, straighten your right leg, square everything off. And exhale, just let it come down to your down dog. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So inhale, left leg reaches up. Open the hips, bend the knee. Take a moment here, whatever movement feels good, matching what you did on the first side. Targeting the front of that left leg, maybe moving into the abs. One more round of breath. Inhale, start to straighten your left leg, square everything off. Exhale, left foot lands in your downward dog. From here, bring your gaze forward, start to walk your feet to the top of the mat, just finding your rag doll. So let your feet be hip width distance, take a generous bend in the knees and let the torso hang heavy over the thighs. You can interlace your fingers behind your head, maybe grab opposite elbows. Do whatever you need to feel that kind of traction on the spine almost, as if there's a weight hanging from the crown of your head. Maybe you take a little movement side to side, maybe you shake the head yes and no. Take about 2 more breaths here, just feeling all that space being created in the spine. Final inhale. Exhale, release the arms, keep the legs bent, and roll up nice and slow through your entire spine to standing. Eventually, when you arrive in standing, take a big shoulder roll up and back, just opening through the front of the body. Then step the feet together underneath you, establishing your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Let the legs root down into the floor as the quads engage and pull the kneecaps up. Let the crown of the head reach to the ceiling as the fingertips reach down. Make sure the core is very active here. Really just stand strongly on both feet. As you inhale, reach your arms high, let your gaze follow. Then exhale, hands come to heart center. Take a moment, bow your chin, close your eyes. Set an intention for your practice this morning. Think about what you would like to focus your mind on. And whatever that intention is, we'll seal it with a breath. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Seal the lips. Breathe in and out through the nose. Find your Ujjayi breath right here. You'll find that constriction in the back of the throat that might create an oceanic sound. And it should feel like this breath is starting to create heat throughout the body. And take about 3 rounds of Ujjayi right here. Final round. Gently blink your eyes open, moving into our Sun A. Inhale, reach the arms high, let the gaze follow. This is our Urdhva Hastasana. As you exhale, hinge forward from the hips, take your forward fold. This is our Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine, making sure that you're reaching through the crown of your head and the core is active. As you exhale, plant the palms, step back into a high plank. Pausing here for just a moment, make sure the legs are really strong. You're pressing the floor away from you with your hands. Take an inhale here. Remember, your knees can be up or down. As you exhale, gently lower to your belly with control. Keep the elbows hugged into the body. Once you arrive on your belly, untuck the toes and inhale, find a baby cobra, just lifting the top part of the chest off the floor. Keep hugging the elbows into the body. Make sure the tops of your feet are pressing down. On an exhale, gently release your chest down. We'll do the same thing as well as lifting our right leg. So as you inhale, baby cobra, right leg lifts. Notice if anything changed in the hips and see if you can make them neutral again. Keep the right leg really strong and straight. One more inhale, lift it a little higher. And exhale, release everything down. We'll do the same thing other side. So inhale, baby cobra, left leg lifts. Feel that leg super strong. Make sure the knee is pointing towards the floor. One more inhale, lift a little higher. And exhale, release it down. Keep the hands by the sides of the rib cage. Inhale, press through a tabletop position, all fours. Then exhale, tuck the toes, send the hips high, downward dog. Take about 2 Ujjayi breaths right here. Make sure that breath is still moving in and out of the nose. That it's really moving through the entire body. Bring your gaze forward, step your feet to the top of the mat, toes come to touch underneath you. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Then exhale, forward fold, release over the legs. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, we stand all the way up, fingertips reach high. Let your right hand grab your left wrist, and as you exhale, bend over to the right. Feeling that deep stretch through the left side of your body. Imagine that all your ribs are separating and moving away from your hip bone. On an inhale, come back to center using the obliques, switch your grip, then exhale, bend over to the left. Feel all that space created in the right side. Trying to keep right side stacked over left here. On an inhale, use your right obliques, bring you back to center. As you exhale, forward fold, hinge forward from the hips. Inhale, find your halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the palms, step back into your high plank again. Knees can be up or down, take an inhale here. And exhale with control, lower all the way down to your belly. Untuck the toes once you arrive. As you inhale, we find a baby cobra with both legs lifting. So really engaging the glutes and hamstrings, both knees point towards the floor. If this feels pretty good, you can lift your hands off the floor, maybe reach them forward in front of you. So imagine that the energy is arcing all the way from those fingertips down to the toes. Take one more inhale here, lift everything higher. And exhale, release it all down. Bring the hands by the sides of the rib cage. Inhale, press through your tabletop position, keep the core active. And exhale, downward dog. Send the hips nice and high. You have 2 more breaths right here. Think about tilting that pelvis so the tailbone reaches to the ceiling. You'll notice how that changes the stretch through the backs of the legs. One more round of breath. Bring your gaze forward, travel your feet to the top of the mat, toes come to touch underneath you. Inhale, find your halfway lift, lengthen the spine, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Bend the legs, reach the arms up nice and high. First chair of the day, technically of the week. So shift your weight back towards your heels. Make sure you can see all 10 toes. Imagine you're squeezing a thin piece of paper between your knees so that your adductors engage. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, right arm back, left arm forward, twisting towards the right side. Keep the torso upright. See if you can pull your left hip and knee back slightly. On an inhale, untwist, both fingertips reach high. Then exhale, left arm back, right arm forward, twisting the opposite way. Keep the right side pulling back, really rotate the chest towards the side. On an inhale, reach your left fingertips high once more, back to your Utkatasana. Then exhale, forward fold, release over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. And then exhale, step your left foot back, setting up for our warrior one. So make sure your left heel comes down to the floor. We bend nice and deep in that right leg. And inhale, reach the arms up. Taking some extra time in this first warrior one, make sure the right hip is back, left hip is forward. We're bending nice and deep into that right leg. It's very strong here. Low abs are active. Take an inhale, maybe shine your heart to the ceiling. And then exhale, low lunge. Hands come down to frame your right foot. Left heel comes off the mat, but let it stay active here. As we inhale, we're stepping back to our high plank. Now this is one you can always come down to a forearm plank, so we're going to be in our plank for a moment. From our high plank in the middle, we're coming to our side plank. So shift over to the outside of the left foot. Right side stacks over left, right fingertips reach to the ceiling. Start to establish this nice side plank. Make sure the back isn't arched. We're trying to keep everything very vertical. Legs are active here. On an inhale, see if you can lift your right leg. As you exhale, start to bend that right leg, stepping it back forward again into your low lunge. So both hands should come to frame the foot. As you inhale, shift your weight forward, lift your left leg to 90 degrees. Make sure the hips are square, the legs are active, the core is strong. As you exhale, left foot meets the right. Forward fold, release over the legs. Inhale, find your halfway lift, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, right foot steps back, setting up for our warrior one on the other side. Bend nice and deep into that left leg. Inhale, reach the arms up. Keep pulling your left hip back, right hip forward. Remember that slight knitting together and engaging of the front of the body helps create space in the back of the body. On an inhale, take a gentle back bend, shining the heart to the ceiling. Then exhale, hands come down to frame the foot. Find your low lunge. Keep your right leg nice and strong. We'll inhale, step back to a high plank. Make sure the legs stay active. Now we'll make our way to our side plank. Right side is our base this time. Come to the outside of that right foot. Left fingertips reach to the ceiling. Keep pressing the floor away from you. Imagine creating a big arc through the side of your body. Now as you inhale, see if you can start to lift your left leg off of the right. Keep using the outside of the hip. As you exhale, bend that leg into the chest. Then step it all the way back forward again into your low lunge. Hands frame your foot. As you inhale, we shift forward into our half lift. So right leg comes to 90 degrees. Keep the core strong, energy through the crown of the head. As you exhale, right foot meets the left. Forward fold, release over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold again. Inhale, chair pose. Bend the legs, reach the arms up nice and high. Second time whipping here, so see if you can do it a little bit deeper this time, sitting the hips a little lower. On an exhale, right arm back, left arm forward. We've been here before. Now this time, start to reach your left fingertips to the outside of the right foot so that you can eventually hook your left elbow outside of the right leg. From here, you might bring your hands to prayer, finding our prayer twist. So heart center with the hands. Maybe take a peek down at your legs. Notice if the left knee and hip crept forward. If they did, pull them back so everything's in alignment again. Take one more round of breath here. Next inhale, we unwind. Both arms reach high to the ceiling. Exhale, left arm back, right arm forward into that T-twist first. Start to reach your right fingertips to the outside of the left foot, hooking your right elbow outside of the left leg. From here, maybe bring your hands together at heart center to find your prayer twist. Now, if you have a mirror, this is particularly easy to see, but see if you can drop your hips lower than your heart. So we should be trying to find a lift of the chest and a deeper bend of the legs. Nice. One more round of breath. On your next inhale, unwind, reach both arms high, we're back in our chair. Then exhale, forward fold, release over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, left foot steps back, setting up for warrior one on the right side. As you inhale, reach the arms up. Try to establish that warrior one right away. All of those things we checked the first time around. Take just one more inhale, open through the heart. Then exhale, low lunge, hands come down to frame the foot. This time, let your back knee come down, untuck the toes, and inhale, reach the arms up. We're sitting nice and deep into that Anjaneyasana here. You might take a little back bend if that feels good today. Always on an exhale, finding that lift of the heart to the ceiling. Take one more inhale, feel the stretch through the front of the hip. And then exhale, half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. Hands come down, we shift our way towards our left leg, flex the right toes. Just enjoy this stretch right here. We want to make sure we're finding squareness. So right hip is pulling up and back, right pinky toes pull towards our face. And maybe you play with walking the hands back slightly. That's going to give you a little more support and also give you some leeway for adjusting how deep you want to go into this stretch. We have about 5 full breaths here. Final round of breath. On an inhale, start to bend into your right leg, finding our lunge once more. So tuck those left toes, engage the leg, kneecap comes off the mat. Shift your weight forward, lift your left leg to 90 degrees, inhale. As you exhale, find Shiva squat, keep the fingertips on the floor though. From here, we'll keep moving deeper into that Shiva squat so your left leg can tuck underneath you to sit all the way down. So your legs should be set up as if you were going to do a seated twist, but the right hand come behind the body. And just extend the right leg slightly in front of you. From here, left hand is grabbing for the outside of that right foot. Start to lift that leg, straightening it so that you find yourself in a little twist. Start dancing Shiva. Now, if this grip isn't available, you can always switch your grip to lower on the leg, somewhere that just allows you to keep that resistance. If this feels comfortable, you can start to reach your right fingertips back, twisting towards that right side. Keep the spine nice and long. Feel the kick of the foot into hand, hand into foot. Take one more full round of breath here. Final inhale, start to bring your gaze back forward. As you exhale, really gently put that right foot down. Now keep stepping towards that right foot so that you can inhale to your warrior three. So left leg lifts into the air, hands come to heart center, find your capital T shape in your body. Take 2 rounds of breath here. Make sure the left hip is spiraling towards the floor. The foot is flexed, toes point straight down. On an inhale, gently bring your fingertips towards the floor. As you exhale, left foot meets the right. Forward fold, release over the legs. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen the spine. And exhale, right foot steps back, setting up for warrior one on our second side. Then nice and deep into that left leg. Inhale, reach the arms up. Again, trying to establish that good form in your warrior right off the bat. We only have one more inhale, maybe a gentle back bend. Then exhale, hands come down to frame the foot, low lunge. Right knee comes down to untuck the toes. And inhale, reach the arms up, Anjaneyasana. You have a couple breaths here on this side as well. So if you took a back bend, match whatever you did on the first side. Make sure you're feeling that nice stretch through the front of the right hip. Your pelvis should feel really heavy here. Take one more inhale. As we exhale, we find our half split. Hands come down. Shift your weight towards your right leg as you flex and straighten your left. Pull your left hip up and back. Left pinky toes pull back. Notice how that gives you a stretch in your calves. And then maybe play with walking those hands back again to then give you a little bit more sense of movement and allowing you to support yourself whatever depth you go. We have about 5 full breaths on this side as well. You have about 2 more breaths. On your next inhale, start to bend into your left leg, finding our low lunge. Right toes tucked, lift the kneecap off the mat. Inhale, shift your weight forward, lift your right leg to 90 degrees. As you exhale, find your Shiva squat. Keep the fingertips on the floor. Now keep your balance lower all the way down. That right leg keeps tucking underneath us, so you find that seated twist position. Nice. Let your left hand come behind you. Right hand reaches towards that left foot. If you need to bring the foot out slightly, you can feel free. Now, as you inhale, once you have your grip, start to kick your foot into your hand. Nice. From here, you might extend your left fingertips back. Keep that oppositional force. So your stability here is coming from the foot kicking into the hand, hand to foot. Take 2 more breaths. See if you might spiral your chest a little more towards the side. Final round of breath. Inhale, bring your gaze back forward. As you exhale, gently release that foot to the floor. Now keep stepping towards your left foot. As you inhale, lift that right leg to 90 degrees, establishing our warrior three, our Virabhadrasana 3. Hands come to heart center, find your capital T shape in the body. Right hip is spiraling down to the floor. One more full round of breath right here. On an inhale, bring your fingertips towards the floor. As you exhale, right foot meets the left, forward fold, release over the legs. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen the spine. And exhale, plant the palms, just step back to your downward dog. So your hips lift high, both feet come back. We have 3 full cleansing breaths in this down dog. So take a deep inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Inhale through the nose. Open mouth, let it go. Final one, inhale. And exhale, let it go. Establish your Ujjayi breath once more. Make sure you're breathing in and out through the nose. Remind yourself of your intention that you set for this practice as well. Now on an inhale, reach your right leg high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, step your foot forward between your hands, setting up for crescent lunge. Left heel presses forward, we bend nice and deep into the right leg. We inhale and reach the arms up. As we exhale, we bring the right arm back, left arm forward. So finding that same transition we found in our chair. Shift your gaze towards that right foot. Start to reach your left fingertips for the outside of that right leg. From here, you can either keep the arms extended or bring them to heart center. I find that heart center actually gives me a little more leverage to maintain my form and twist deeper. Your gaze can be towards that right shoulder. Take a couple more breaths right here. Imagine that you're lifting the torso off the thigh so the core is active. On your next inhale, we unwind. Both fingertips reach to the ceiling, back to our crescent. And then exhale, warrior two. Capital T shape in the arms, bend nice and deep into that right leg. Make sure the right knee is pressing outwards slightly. Inhale, flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Reach the right fingertips up and back. Find your deep side bend here, but make sure you don't straighten your right leg. Keep it nice and deep. We have one more inhale. Then exhale, extended side angle. Right elbow comes towards that right thigh. Left arm sweeps across the body and forward. Now thinking about keeping both sides of the body long and engaged, see if you can make the weight on your right hand a little less. So we want to see if we can maybe hover the elbow off the thigh. We really contract the left side. Nice, you guys. On an inhale, we reverse our warrior once more. So right fingertips reach up and back. Now as we exhale, we cartwheel the hands down towards the foot and move right into our revolved half moon. So left fingertips come to the floor. Right fingertips reach to the ceiling, left leg is up. Take 2 rounds of breath here to establish this revolved half moon, making sure that your left hip is still spiraling towards the floor, left leg is active. One more inhale here. Exhale, Shiva squat. Tap your left knee to your right calf. Maybe for a moment, play with bringing your hands to heart center to test your balance. Now, as you inhale, we're finding Prasarita towards the left side of our mat. So step your left leg back and just keep the hands in contact with the floor as you pivot to face the side of your mat. Nice, you guys. Take an inhale, find a half lift. Then exhale, fold forward over the legs. 2 options with the hands here. You can either walk them back, fingertips pointing forward for chaturanga arms. You can also grab peace fingers to big toe or to the outside of your ankle. Whatever feels good here. Imagine the crown of your head is really heavy, your tailbone's tilting towards the ceiling, and your weight is towards the toes. So we're trying to keep the hips aligned over the ankles. We have about 3 rounds of breath right here. One more round of breath. Bring your hands underneath your face from wherever they were. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Bring your hands to your hips, stand all the way back up to standing. From here, narrow your stance just a tiny bit, pivot your right toes. We're setting up for triangle towards the front of our mat. So right toes are forward, left toes still to the side, arms come out to our capital T. As you inhale, start to reach your right fingertips forward, left hip back, then exhale, tip into your triangle. As you do this, imagine the same concept we worked on in the extended side angle, where that right hand isn't carrying a lot of weight. So we're trying to keep ourselves supported with the abs and with the muscles of the torso versus the hand underneath us. Take 2 more rounds of breath right here. See if you might hover that right hand off the floor. Now shift your gaze down towards your right foot. As we inhale, we make our way to half moon, or Ardha Chandrasana. So start to bend into your right leg. Right hand reaches forward and outside. Lift your left leg off the mat. Imagine you're keeping that same triangle alignment as well as the strength here. So the feeling of hovering your bottom fingertips off the floor comes into play. Maybe see if you can do the same action here. Contract the left side, support your body, lift the right hand off the mat. Take 1 more inhale here. Exhale, Shiva squat, maybe no hands. So bending that right leg, left knee taps the right calf. As you inhale, we stand up to one-legged Tadasana, one-legged mountain. So straightening that right leg, left knee draws into the chest, arms reach high. Then exhale, left foot meets the right, hands come to heart center. Just take a moment here, 1 round of breath. Now, keeping our eyes open, our hands at heart center, draw your right knee into your chest, so the opposite leg that was just up. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, we find our figure four. So start to bend into your left leg. Right ankle comes to the left calf. That right knee bends outward. Imagine you're sitting in that chair, so your hips are dropping nice and low. You can either keep your torso upright here, or you can start to hinge forward from the hips and bring your forearms towards the shin. Wherever you choose to go, make sure you have an even drishti, so we're staring at one focal point the entire time. We have 2 more rounds of breath. If you fold it over, start to bring your torso back up. Keep the bend in your left leg. As we inhale, we start to straighten through our left leg, draw our right knee into the chest. And exhale, right foot meets the left. 1 round of breath on both feet. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So from here, start to draw your left knee into your chest. Inhale. Exhale, left ankle to right knee, and we come into our figure four. And make sure you're sitting nice and deep into that right leg. The core is strong, the torso is long. Now, if you choose to fold over, you can do that. Try to maintain the length in your body though. So we're not rounding over the leg, we're extending the sternum forward and past the legs. Wherever you are, establish your drishti. See if you can sit deeper into that right leg. We have 1 more round of breath. If you fold it, start to bring your torso up without changing anything in the legs. Everyone inhales to straighten the right leg, left leg draws into the chest. And exhale, left foot meets the right. 1 round of breath. On your next inhale, reach your arms high, let your gaze follow. And exhale, hinge forward from the hips, forward fold. Toe heel your feet to hip width distance underneath you for our Padangusthasana, our big toe forward fold. Peace fingers wrap in and around the big toes to bind. Inhale, find your halfway lift, lift the heart. And exhale, pull with the arms, let the head hang really heavy. Now notice if you have the belly to thigh connection in this forward fold. If you don't, bend your legs a little bit and that will give you that connection and take some pressure off of the low back. Wherever you are, see if you can keep your weight slightly towards the toes. Make sure you're not holding any tension in the neck, so the crown of the head is really heavy. You've got about 2 more breaths here. Final inhale. And exhale, release the grip from around your toes. Toe heel your feet together underneath you, traditional forward fold. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen the spine. And exhale, plant the palms, downward dog. Feet step back, hips lift up nice and high. You have just about 2 breaths here to reestablish your Ujjayi breath. So make sure you're still breathing in and out through the nose. Let that breath create even more heat in the body. On your next inhale, lift your left leg high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, step that foot forward between your hands, setting up for crescent on our second side. Press that right heel forward as you inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, let your left arm come back, right arm forward, twisting towards that right leg or left leg. Make sure your right leg is really active. From here, your right hand starts to reach towards the outside of your left foot to find that hook of the arms. Maybe you bring your hands to heart center and gaze towards your left elbow. Wherever we are, we have 2 to 3 more breaths. Make sure that the core is active so we're not resting the torso on the leg, even though it might be making contact. 1 more round of breath here. As we inhale, we unwind. Both fingertips reach to the ceiling. Keep the legs strong. Then exhale, warrior 2. Capital T in the arms. Spiral that right heel to the floor. Gaze over the left fingertips. Inhale, flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Find your side bend here. We get that nice full round of breath. So make sure that you're keeping the bend in your left leg, keeping the side bend through the body. 1 more inhale here. Then exhale, extended side angle. Left elbow comes to the thigh, right arm sweeps across the body. Now again, focusing on the activity through the torso versus supporting with the arm. So contract the right side of the body. Maybe see if you can hover the left arm off of wherever it's supporting you. Take 1 more round of breath. On your next inhale, we reverse warrior just for the inhale. So left fingertips reach up and back. Now as we exhale, we cartwheel the hands towards the left foot to find our revolved half moon. So shift the weight right towards that left leg. Right hand comes down, left leg is off the mat, gazing towards your left fingertips. Make sure the hips are squared towards the floor. Really nice, you guys. You get another full round of breath here. Final inhale. Exhale, Shiva squat. Right knee taps the left calf. Maybe see if you can hover your hands off the floor to come to heart center. Now from here, as we inhale, we make our way towards our Prasarita. So step your right leg really far back. Hands will come to the floor and walk you towards the right side of your mat. Make sure the feet are parallel here. Take an inhale, half lift. Then exhale, fold forward over the legs. Now take a different grip than you did your first time. So if you put your hands in your chaturanga shape, feel free to grab the ankles or big toes. If you did that the first time, maybe take your arms to chaturanga. Wherever you are, tailbone lifts nice and high, head is very heavy here. Make sure your legs are still active in your Prasarita. So even though it does seem like a resting pose, we're still super, super active within our practice. Take about 3 more breaths here. Start to walk your hands underneath your face from wherever they were. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Bring your hands to your hips. Stand all the way back up. From here, we pivot the left toes to face the front of the mat. If you narrowed your stance on the first side, feel free to do it here. We're setting up for a triangle. So arms come to our capital T shape. Start to reach your left fingertips forward. Right hip back as you inhale. And then exhale, tip into your Trikonasana. Same concept we've been working on. See if you can keep minimal weight in that left hand without sacrificing the form of your triangle. The right side is contracted, left side is long. Maybe hover the left fingertips. 1 more round of breath right here. Now shift your gaze down towards your left foot. As you inhale, we shift forward into our half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So left hand is on the mat maybe initially, but see if you can keep the concept of hovering the bottom hand. So maybe lift your left fingertips off. The more you contract that right side, the easier it will be. Take 1 more inhale here. Exhale, Shiva squat. See if you cannot use your hands. It's a really hard transition to do without hands, but it's fun. So once you find your Shiva, we inhale, stand all the way up to one-legged mountain. Right knee draws into the chest, arms reach high. Then exhale, Tadasana, hands come to heart center, both feet down. 1 round of breath right here. Now moving into our second round of standing balance, we're going to work with the left leg first. So really root your right foot down into the mat. From here, draw your left knee into your chest. Bring your right hand to the front of your left knee. Left hand comes to the hip. Now if this feels pretty easy and you want to take it a step further, you can take your right hand to the outside of your left foot and extend the leg like we did in our dancing Shiva when we were seated. Wherever we choose to go, once you have your grip with the leg, start to spiral your chest towards the left side. Maybe extend your left arm back. This is our revolved Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Make sure your foot is kicking into your hand, hand into foot. You have another round of breath. Nice work, everyone. As you inhale, bring your left hand back to your hip. Shift your gaze back forward. As you exhale, just release the leg, drawing the knee into the chest. So see if you can keep that engagement of the hip flexor. Now, gently let your left foot meet the right. Take 1 round of breath here. Now we get to go to the other side. So left side is our standing side first. Draw your right knee into your chest. Right hand comes to the hip. Left hand comes to the front of the right knee, or you can reach the hand for the outside of the foot. If you have the foot, straighten your leg. You want to make sure that with that leg straight, your torso isn't bending over. So if that starts to happen, either resist yourself upright or just grab the knee. From here, reach the fingertips back, start to look towards your right side, spiraling the chest. Keep the leg nice and strong. Remember, opposition is your friend here, so kick the foot to hand. Use that force to keep you balanced. You have about 2 more rounds of breath. Now on an inhale, right hand comes back to the hip. Shift your gaze back, forward again. Keep that knee towards your chest as you release it. Both hands come to heart center. Right knee draws up a little. And then right foot meets the left. Samasthiti, mountain pose. As you inhale, reach your arms high. Let your gaze follow. Then exhale, hinge forward from the hips, forward fold. Toe heel your feet to hip width distance once more. We're taking Padahastasana, our gorilla pose. So slide the palms of your hands face up underneath your feet. Give your wrists a little massage with your toes if you want. Then take an inhale, find some length through the crown of your head. And exhale, pull with your arms, release over the legs. Again, notice that belly to thigh connection. See if you might bend the legs if you don't have it with straight legs. You have about 3 breaths here wherever you are. Keep the weight towards the toes. Final inhale. Exhale, gently release your hands from underneath your feet and toe heel your feet to touch underneath you. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the palms, step back into high plank. Knees can be up or down here. As you inhale, shift your weight forward. As you exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. So we're just making our way down. Once you arrive, untuck the toes behind you. We're going to take a couple locust variations today. So first one, we'll take our arms to a capital T shape. We're going to lift just our torso. So feel the legs squeeze together behind you. Imagine they're glued at the inseam. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. As you inhale, lift your chest and arms. Arms are in a capital T shape. Really press the feet down as you lift the chest up. Make sure the glutes are active here. We have about 2 more breaths. Keep the back of the neck long. Final inhale, lift a little higher. And exhale, release your chest down. Bring your right ear to the mat, arms down by the sides. Take just 1 round of breath right here. Good, now bring your chin back to the mat. Second round of locust, we'll interlace the fingers behind our back. So find that interlaced grip. Keep the legs squeezing together. As you inhale, first we just lift the chest. So chest and arms reach back. See if you can lift your arms off the tailbone. So we don't want to rest them on the back of the body. Now once you establish your locust in the torso, keep the legs squeezed together and lift them off the mat. This might feel more challenging than when we keep them apart. This is going to engage the inner thighs more, and it might even activate your hamstrings more. Take an inhale, lift your chest higher. Exhale, lift your legs higher. Inhale, lift everything higher, good. And exhale, release, left ear to the mat, arms down by the sides. 1 round of breath right here. Bring your chin back to the mat. Just take your hands by the side of your body. Keep your legs together. Press back to a closed knee child's pose. So knees stay together, hips sit back towards the heels. Once you establish your legs, allow your forehead to come to the mat and your arms to come by your sides. So the backs of the hands will rest on the floor. Let the shoulders really round forward here to release the back of the body. We have about 3 full rounds of breath. Notice how the breath has changed throughout your practice. Notice how the mind has changed. Final round of breath. On an inhale, start to roll up through the spine nice and slow, just coming to seated on your heels. Then gently roll over to one side, bring both legs out in front of you. Setting up for our Paschimottanasana first, so simple forward fold. Flex the feet, draw the legs together. Inhale, reach the arms high, find length through the body. And then exhale, start to fold forward over your legs, grabbing onto the feet, the legs, wherever you can. Use this grip to actively pull yourself forward. Make sure you're finding length through the spine here. So we're trying to reach the collarbone forward versus rounding over the legs. We have about 4 full breaths here. Final inhale. And exhale, gently release your grip. Come all the way back up. Take your hands by the side of your body, slightly back, fingertips forward, bend your legs. We'll just take a reverse tabletop for a moment. So as you inhale, press the feet into the floor, lift the hips up. If it feels good, you can drop the head back behind you. That's totally optional. Take about 2 breaths right here. Keep the glutes active. Final inhale. Exhale, chin back to the chest. Let the hips come down. Straighten the legs out in front of you. Release the hands. Draw your right knee into the chest. Then let your knee fall open to the side. So sole of the foot is on the inner thigh. We'll take a deep side stretch here. So let the left hand come down inside of the left leg. Maybe slide to the elbow. Inhale, reach your right fingertips to the ceiling. Spiral your chest open as if you're doing triangle pose. And then exhale, reach forward with that right hand towards your left toes. Keep your right hip anchored towards the mat. Imagine breathing into the right side of your body, separating all of those muscles, all of the bones, everything on that side. Take about 3 full rounds of breath here. Final round of breath. On an inhale, let your right fingertips bring you all the way back up. Right hand plants right by the side of the right glute. Shift your weight towards the knee and shin to lift the hips up into our gate latch. The left fingertip sweeps back. Try to find a little bit of a back bend here as well so the heart shines towards the ceiling. Take 1 more deep inhale. And then exhale, come back the way you went in. Let the hip come down. Straighten the right leg out in front of you. And we'll move right to the other side. So draw the left knee into the chest, let it open, left foot to the right inner thigh. Right hand comes inside of the leg, maybe to the elbow. Inhale, reach your left fingertips to the ceiling, spiral your side open. Then exhale, start to reach the left fingertips towards the right toes, finding that deep side stretch here. Think about anchoring your left hip. So that's moving down in opposition to everything else, stretching upwards and over. 3 full breaths here. Breathe into the left side of your body. Final round of breath. As you inhale, let the left fingertips bring you all the way back up. Plant your hand by your tailbone and shift your weight to the knee and shin to find your gate latch. Right fingertips sweep across and back. Really shine your heart to the ceiling, finding that little back bend here. Take 1 more deep inhale. And as you exhale, make your way back down the way you went in. Hip comes down. Straighten both legs out in front of you. Now from here, we'll find our Uttanasana Konasana, wide-legged forward fold. So feel free to straighten your legs to the sides. If you need to shift your placement, feel free. Make sure your feet are really active here. The legs are active as well. Take an inhale, fingertips out in front of you. And then exhale, walk your hands forward. Finding length through the spine here. Now you can choose today to make this either an active or a passive forward fold. So if you're feeling ready to relax, you can absolutely let your head release, let your legs release. If you want to keep it active, keep your feet flexed, keep the core strong, and keep reaching your arms forward to pull yourself forward. We have about 5 full breaths right here. Final round of breath. As you inhale, start to walk your hands up nice and slow. And bring your hands to the outsides of your legs and draw them together in front of you. Square yourself to the front of your mat if you change directions. And just take a moment to windshield wiper your legs so you can rock them side to side. Just lingering in that internal rotation that should feel really good in opposition to the wide-legged forward fold. Take about 2 more rounds of these windshield wipers. Now bring your legs back to center. Keep the feet flat on the floor. We'll move into our boat pose next. So situate yourself on your tail. Start to draw your knees into the chest. Keep the length through your spine as you lift your feet off the floor. Maybe extend the arms forward, maybe straighten the legs. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, low boat on 1, hover the shoulders, hover the feet. Keep reaching your fingertips towards the toes, hollow through the front. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, high boat on 1, legs come up towards you, reach the arms forward. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, low boat, final one on 1, so hover, keep hollowing through the front, low abs are keeping you up. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, release on 1, let everything come down. You can draw your knees into your chest for a moment if that helps release your hip flexors. And we'll move into our figure 4 stretch next. So let your feet come down to the floor. Right ankle comes to that left knee. Thread your arms through and draw the legs into the chest. Keep the tailbone pressing down towards the floor. You can use your right elbow to move your right thigh away from you to deepen the stretch if you want. We have about 5 breaths here. Nice, everyone. One more round of breath. Now on your next inhale, gently just extend both legs to the ceiling. So unwinding them, coming to a legs up the wall pose for a moment. The arms can come down by the sides, or you can even slide your hands under the tailbone to give it a little more support. Now just take a moment in this legs up the wall. See if you can find that angle where your legs feel almost weightless. So your legs might bend slightly. You want to make sure they're not too far away from you because that's going to start to activate the hip flexors and abs. There's that place where they feel like they can kind of just sway. Maybe there's some organic movement in there, but they should feel very light. We'll just take about 5 breaths right here. Final inhale. And then exhale, we'll find figure 4 on the left. So just gently bring your left ankle to your right knee, thread your arms through and draw the legs in towards you. Targeting that stretch in the outer hip, squeezing the legs in close. Allow the tailbone to be really heavy here. You have about 3 more deep, slow breaths. Final inhale. And exhale, gently extend your legs to the ceiling again, legs up the wall for a second time. Do whatever you need to give your legs that same sense of weightlessness, that same sense of relaxation. We have a little more than 5 breaths this time around. So imagine all the blood just draining out of your legs. They become lighter and lighter. Allow your breath to slow and deepen. Final inhale. Exhale, bend your legs to tabletop position. So just letting them hover. Allow your arms to come to a capital T shape, palms down. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, let both legs go to the left side of your body for your supine twist, both legs bent. Keep your right shoulder heavy on the floor. Maybe your gaze shifts over to the right. Allow your eyes to close and just enjoy about 5 to 6 deep, slow breaths here. And start to bring your gaze back to center, and then legs back to center. Just draw your knees into your chest for a moment, neutralizing the spine. Maybe rock side to side. And then when you're ready, bring your legs back to your tabletop, arms back to your capital T. Take an inhale here. And exhale, both legs to the right side of the body, finding your supine twist on the opposite side. Make sure your left shoulder stays really heavy here. Your gaze can shift over to the left. Allow your eyes to close and just let everything become very heavy. Let gravity do all the work for you. You have another 5 or so breaths. Gently let your gaze come back to center, and then legs back to center. Find a happy baby for a moment, grabbing on the outsides or insides of your feet. Knees come down and around the ribs. Take whatever movement here feels good, whatever final movement you need before your Shavasana. You might rock side to side. You might straighten one leg, then the other. Just take about 2 more rounds of breath in this happy baby. Start to draw your knees back into your chest one final time, wrapping your arms around the shins. Chin comes into the chest as well. Squeeze everything into your midline. Imagine any extra energy, any extra tension that you're holding comes in right here. One more inhale, squeeze it tighter. And exhale, Shavasana. Let your legs release long onto the mat. Let your arms release down by your sides, palms up. Allow your eyes to close. And just let go of everything we've done in this hour. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm in and out of the body. Let the eyebrows relax and the eyes fall into the socket. Let the jaw unclench and the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. In that same way, just work your way down your entire body. Let everything become heavier and sink deeper into the floor. Just enjoy the next few minutes in this Shavasana. feeling ready to start waking up, start first by deepening your breath. Allow the new breath to bring fresh energy into the body. Maybe start to wiggle the fingers, and wiggle the toes. Maybe let the head rock side to side. If it feels good, you can reach your arms back behind you, finding a good morning stretch. Then when you're ready, draw your knees into your chest. And keeping your eyes closed and your focus very internal, just start to make your way to a seated position in whatever way feels good. Once you arrive in your seat, allow your hands to come to heart center and your chin to bow. Just take a moment to thank yourself for doing something good for your mind and body for an hour out of your morning. The light within me meets, greets, and honors the light within all of you. Namaste. Great work today, you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. We'll just build on that flow throughout the week this week. So, all right, I think you're